So could Daymare, 1998, be the Resident Evil killer? Well, perhaps not, but there's absolutely no reason it can't sit alongside it as a worthy entrance into the genre of survival horror. So join us as we discuss what makes Daymare an impressive game in its own right, and not just a clone of the great games that came before it. Okay guys, just before we start, I just want to mention an awesome giveaway we're currently doing. So I don't know whether you guys have heard of upcoming survival horror zombie game known as Dead Matter. It's been a long time in coming, and the devs are promising some excellent things, and we're currently doing a giveaway for a Steam key for the full game and also a key for the early closed alpha. So if that sounds something like you're interested in, then we'll link at the description, and please head over to our Twitter and show your interest. Alright. Thank you very much guys, on to the review. It's probably worth first pointing out that originally Daymare was set to be a fan-made Resident Evil 2 remake. With that considered, there are obviously going to be a lot of similarities between the two. We do think Daymare definitely does enough to deserve credit and be recognised in its own right though. As the date in its name indicates, it's set back in 1998 as a definite throwback to the late 90s style of survival horror. It's actually much more than just another paint-by-numbers attempt at the genre, however. Not to say it doesn't use the traditional survival horror formula, it does, but it does it very well, and it throws in an intriguing storyline to ensure you're always eager to find out what happens next. Before we get to that though, let's get the technicals out of the way. So using an i7 3.4 GHz CPU with 24 MHz of RAM and a 1050 Ti GPU, the game looked and performed well. On high settings it ran at 70 plus frames per second for almost the entirety, often going much higher, and there was no noticeable stuttering or screen tearing at any point throughout our playthrough. Graphically, the game was average to good by today's standards, certainly not bad by any means. Some of the character faces could have been better, and character models, looking at you zombies, were copy-paste with probably only 10 to 15 models or so throughout. On the plus side, Daymare 1998 is super atmospheric, doing great with colours and ambience to either highlight that feeling of unease or bring that relief of, whew, I can relax for a minute. The devs clearly understand that it's important to vary locations in games like this and give you a good variation. Hospitals, nature trails, city streets, secret facilities and more. Browns and greys galore, this game is not. As for bugs, we had a total of 3 in the 13 or so hours in the playthrough. Unfortunately, 2 of them came against the final boss, when for no reason we could no longer aim or fire our guns, amongst other things, meaning we had to restart at the previous checkpoint. Mercifully though, this was practically at the start of the boss fight, and other than those 3 instances the game performed very well throughout. The audio was good for the most part. Following the visuals lead, the general atmospheric tone and tempo changes did great to reflect the current mood of the game, depending on what was happening at that particular time, and it was genuinely really creepy at times too. The voice acting was hit and miss though, with some better than others, but even the worst was passable.
You copy? Over. Code 11. I say again, Code 11. This is emergency. Shit, the radio's out.
With one disastrous move away from checkmate,
Damn that lead.
an unexpected hand reached out.
Oh, and I definitely feel compelled to mention the end credits song. It's fantastic. Not something we'd usually mention, but this song is as beautiful as it is haunting. Definitely worth a listen. Okay, so onto the story. We have the secret agencies testing bioweapons, etc. on the unsuspecting public, which in turn turns them all into unrelenting zombies, and occasionally the more powerful alternatives that gives the games the edge. Sound familiar? Well, again, don't forget this was originally meant to be a Resident Evil game. The best compliment I can give it though is that it's more than good enough to have been part of that universe should it have been a Resident Evil game, which, considering it comes from a small indie developer, is a huge compliment. If one were to dissect Daymare, it definitely feels as though this is one of those games where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Nothing is absolutely fantastic individually, but it just works, it really does. What the game does really well is have you play as 3 different protagonists at different stages of the game, guiding them onto a collision course for the game's exciting conclusion. We really like this and feel it added an extra dimension. The game is an absolute Easter egg magnet. They're littered all over the place, with movie posters, arcade machines and other paraphernalia scattered across the game, paying homage to some of the most fantastic films and games across the years. Not quite though, as you'll see things like the arcade machine titled Full Life instead of Half-Life, things like that where it's clear what it's hinting at, but everything's just changed enough either for fun or to avoid those copyright claims. It is a fantastic touch though, and I spent a good portion of the time stopping and reading them. There are some aspects of the game I didn't like. One annoyance was the character menu can only be controlled by keyboard rather than by mouse. This just makes it feel clunkier than it needed to be when trying to manage inventory, for example. And I really hope that if we do get a sequel, the devs say they're working on something, so hopefully, then they can rectify this. Also, and this is just personal preference, I wasn't a fan of 1 and 2 later boss battles. Some people probably enjoy them, but avoiding spoilers, I'll just say I don't like being chased with an insta-death boss. Overall though, if you enjoy the late 90s style of survival horror, then I see absolutely no reason why you wouldn't really enjoy this. We got it on sale, as I was unsure. However, knowing what I know now, I'd comfortably pay the full £20 for it and class it as a good deal. This could be a AAA title as far as we're concerned, and we definitely recommend it. Solid 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget we do offer giveaways for subscribers and followers. As we mentioned earlier, we've got an excellent giveaway currently. Do head over to our social medias and check everything out. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and remember guys, stay pro.